So the other day in my YouTube live video, I was talking about how I had hit a really extremely low point in my life due to the fact that I have no family. And then the crisis hit, and I could see all of my friends and people I know going off to be with their family during this time. And then there was just me, of course, as usual. That really got to me. I had just had this really crazy experience where I had gone to a really intuitive chiropractor. He had told me that you have feet. And for me, I love to get feedback on myself from someone I trust because that's one of the best ways to grow and learn in life, because we all have blind spots. And so when he told me this, I had a look and I said, oh my gosh, my feet do kind of slope in the middle. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, that has taken years to accomplish. Now, he showed me some exercises and things I can do to fix it. And I'm probably going to make a video about that coming up soon. But I remember coming home and thinking, how have I not known this about myself for years? And then I went and looked in my closet and I had all of my summer sandals. Now, your sandals are something that are a bit different. They're not like your structured shoes, right? Because I have my running shoes that have structure and my hiking boots that have structure and my rain boots that you can't really, they're pretty sturdy. But the sandals are really malleable in material. And I looked at all of my sandals and they all sloped in the middle, and they had been like that this entire time, but because I didn't know what I was looking for, I had no idea. And it was just this big profound thing in my life where I just felt like, has my whole life been a lie? Because when you find out something about yourself that is glaringly obvious that you were not aware of for a really long time, it can really throw your whole world off. And then I started thinking about, how much progress have I made as a person based on where I come from? I haven't told a lot of you about my childhood, but also around that time, I ended up getting an email from someone who used to be a neighbor growing up. She just said that she had just found out that my mother died and she was really sorry and she wanted to know what happened. Well, I told her, of course, but then I asked her, wow, I haven't really heard from many people, many adults, objective adults, who were around when I was that age. I was 2 years old. It was just me and my mother. A lot of times we were just there alone, and I have a lot of really bad memories, but I have no one to witness it to me. I'm curious, what do you remember? And this lady sends me back this email that confirms that my early childhood was basically the lyrics of a Disturbed song. And that brought back a whole bunch of horrible memories for me. And then I started also looking into self-esteem. And I realized also around the same time when all these realizations were coming to me that I've always been a confident person. For the most part, I went through extreme social anxiety and shyness in my teen years until I worked really hard to overcome that. And then after that, I was just always this confident, helpful person. But it was only in this past year that I realized that my entire life, I have had extremely low self-esteem. And I can look back now and I can see all of the signs. So I was feeling really overwhelmed before all of this happened. Maybe some of you can relate. After I found myself lamenting to my subscribers in that video, I just kind of sat back and asked myself, when did I become a victim? I've lived my entire life single-sided towards the things that inspired me in life, and I refused to become like my mother or my family. I refused to become the kind of person that the environment that shaped me should have warranted. And so shortly after that, I just had a realization and a remembering about what I came here for. From a very early age, it was obvious that I was born with the spirit of curiosity and playfulness towards life. Now, I had terrible luck to be born to a single mom on welfare who abused and neglected me. But I was also extremely lucky that she provided me with the tools and the experiences that nurtured the side of myself that hungered for beauty, for knowledge, and for nature. My mother had friends who had this beautiful remote ranch in BC, and we would go there every summer, and I would live out there for months. And it was the best thing. It just brought my spirit alive, and I loved caring for animals. I loved being out in nature all day. That was basically the rule on the farm. Was we had chores to do in the mornings, which was to care for the chickens and collect the eggs. And then the doors to the house were closed essentially for the rest of the day. And we just played outside till it got dark or it was dinner time. I have so many memories of collecting baby frogs, finding a toad and trying to carry it home on my bike by putting it down my shirt. Memories of seeing animals being born, of the smell of newborn puppy breath. I've always loved animals. Have been finding injured animals my entire life and caring for them. I love growing things. I love learning about plants. I've recently started learning about aquatic plants and fish keeping. I was obsessed with the nitrogen cycle for this past year, messing around with live bacteria, all different types of chemicals, testing things. I remember when I was about 8 years old, I think I was about 7 or 8, my mother won tickets on the radio to a ballet, and her friend canceled on her about an hour before. And I remember someone urged her, just go, take your daughter and go. And it was this big ordeal, and she grudgingly, brought me there. And, I remember I didn't feel comfortable around my mother. She was always kind of sullen and resentful around me. I remember feeling uncomfortable being there. Everyone was well dressed and they seemed important, and I felt embarrassed about what I was wearing and how I looked. But I remember sitting down, and when the dancers came out and the orchestra struck up, it was so beautiful. It touched something inside, and it brought tears to my eyes. This is what I am here for the beauty of the human experience, for the things that we can be touched and moved by in life. I have compassion for myself for having been sad over wanting a part of the human experience that some people are lucky enough to have. I can be sad over what I don't have, or I can just continue rejoicing in the things that I came here for. I've always had magical and unique opportunities come into my life, and I seize good opportunities too, and I'm grateful for that about myself. I know a lot of you are going through things with this whole pandemic right now and wondering a lot about your life, looking back over your history and wondering, what was the purpose of your life? What were you here for? Many of us have forgotten that human life is short. It doesn't have any meaning other than what we assign to it. I used to think that the purpose of my life was I had a quest to come here and heal a generational trauma, and, I had to overcome my parents. So essentially, despite the fact that my main goal was to become self-realized in this world and to truly understand my relationship with the universe, with God, and with nature, I kind of let this whole idea of my parents overshadow my life after all, and they're dead. I let myself get distracted by a lot of these ideas about the law of attraction and all of this personal development, entrepreneur stuff. Make a vision board and put it on. I mean, all of those things are quite good, but they really did distract me in a certain way. They distracted me from why I'm really here. They distracted me from my mission. They made me feel like I had to achieve these material things. I'm not really that interested in material things. And on top of that, I've found that when I pursue the things that I love, like God and nature and creation and learning, those material things just come to me naturally anyway. I don't have to sit around focusing on abundance. I remember, oh my God, when was this? 1999. I remember in 1999, my first encounter with a spiritual charlatan was Sylvia Browne. I saved up my little dimes and quarters so that I could fly to Toronto, stay in a hotel by myself for the very first time, the cheapest hotel on the outskirt of town, so I could go to this conference with Sylvia Browne. She was the first person I had seen who was talking about these different spiritual concepts. She was also into Gnostic Christianity. And as I was moving away from the rigid confines of the church and still trying to follow the voice of God within my heart, I was still kind of looking for something that had some kind of explanation to it. Like many humans, I believed that the way to God was by someone telling me what to do, by another human telling me how to get to God. I felt like I had to go and listen to this Sylvia Browne lady. She was late coming to the stage, and they came out and said, oh, it's because she was meeting with the family of the missing girl. There was this missing girl, and they were saying, oh yes, the psychic Sylvia Browne is meeting with the family. That's why she was late. Please. Anyway, at one point near the end of this show that she put on, which was horrible, by the way, she basically repeated almost verbatim, like she was reading it off a screen, everything that she'd said in her books or on the Montel Williams show. There was nothing new, there wasn't anything innovative, there was no energy or spirit to her. And at one point I just kind of realized, oh my God, this is fake and I've been conned. But okay, what can I still take away from this experience? At the end, she did this kind of meditation where she was just like talking, and we're supposed to sit quietly with our eyes closed. And she said, if you want more money in your life, and when you're in your meditative state and you want more money in your life, just say, I want abundance. And then the lady beside me goes, I want abundance. And it was dead silent in the theater when she said it. And then she kind of, And I remember looking over at this lady sitting there, and these tickets had not been cheap, okay? And this lady's sitting there, and she has on a wedding ring, and she looks like a middle to upper middle class housewife. She's got some jewelry and some designer things on or whatever. And I remember feeling like it was just a profound moment to me that you have this probably pretty beautiful life. You know, we're all lucky to have even been born in North America, to have the money to come here, to sit in this stadium, to pay money to the charlatan. And she's just saying that I want abundance. Like, are you kidding me? You already have so much abundance. We all do. This is ridiculous. I've had some great things come out of the pandemic for me. This will definitely prove to you how much of a nerd I am, but one of them is that the library book checkouts got extended till the end of June. Also, right now, I don't have the knowledge or the capacity to grow my own food from the earth alone, but I remember thinking, when I want some fresh vegetables, I don't want to have to go to the grocery store and choose ones that people may have coughed on and stuff like that. So I started a garden here at home, which I could have done at any time, but I feel like this really kind of propelled me into it. So I've been gardening, I've been growing so many things, researching all different ways, different types of lighting, harvesting. I'm gonna show you my plants. Peas, kale, and radishes. They're really beautiful. I'm obsessed with them, and I'm growing more as well. I have 2 of these on the go. This is my cilantro. Look at how good it is. Today I tasted it for the first time. I just took one of the smaller leaves, and it tasted so beautiful. These are my favorite flower. You can see they're springing up. They smell really strongly like honey. And these are called alyssum. I've discovered them last summer because I would constantly, I go to my dermatologist multiple times a week for light treatments. So I had this wonderful walk there and back. And every time I went by this one place, it smelled really sweet. And I remember finally one day just thinking, I'm going to find out where that smell's coming from. I don't know if that's a bakery or what that is coming from. And I kind of started looking, and I saw this gardening shop. And so I walked in and I was just looking around. And the lady says, oh, what do you, can I help you? And I said, oh yeah, do you know why it smells like honey outside? And she says, oh, I'm going to show you. And she showed me these beautiful little white flowers. And I knew I had to have them. So take courage and Godspeed, my friends. Never forget why you came here. Don't be distracted from your heroic journey of this life. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.